Hello, and welcome to Nighttime Tales, a haven where stories come to life under the gentle hush of evening, guiding you toward a peaceful night's rest. Tonight, we bring you another calming tale, one crafted to ease your mind and invite a sense of tranquil calm. But first, let's take a few moments to prepare both body and mind for a restful sleep. Make yourself comfortable, and with each slow inhale and gentle exhale, feel the day's worries slowly melt away. It can be challenging to separate from the bustle of the day, especially as bedtime nears. Yet remember, the less we fret about falling asleep, the more our minds can let go of lingering tension. Let the gentle flow of your breathing soothe any concerns and allow tonight's story to guide you into a deep, restorative slumber. Now get cozy and let the soft glow of nighttime tales envelope you. Enjoy this story and may it lead you into a serene and restful sleep. The gentle patter of raindrops dances against the bedroom window, crafting a soothing melody that guides Lily from her dreams into the soft embrace of morning. She listens closely to each drop as it lightly kisses the glass, counting them until they blend into an uncountable chorus. With her thoughts now free to drift, she imagines the sound like grains of rice spilling into a jar. This is the song of the season, she reflects, relishing the rhythm of the rain and the quiet rustle of leaves swaying in the breeze outside. Envisioning the vibrant colors of autumn and the slow winding down of the year, a smile spreads across her face as she stretches her arms high above her head. Although darkness still blankets the world beyond her window, it's time for her to rise and shine. Soon, she will don her hat and coat, setting off to the bakery to prepare for the day's first visitors. Even though she starts her day before many of her neighbors have stirred, Lily finds joy in this routine. She loves her work and eagerly looks forward to placing those first pastries into the oven and brewing that first pot of coffee. The delight on her regular customers' faces makes those early hours all worthwhile, ensuring that when evening comes, she will be ready for a restful night's sleep. Sitting up in bed, she uncovers her legs and slips her feet into the cozy slippers waiting patiently on the floor before rising with a big yawn. Quietly padding into the kitchen, Lily embraces the serenity of this hour when night gently gives way to dawn. Through the window, she catches sight of soft morning light reflecting off the grey exterior of her neighbor's house, where its occupant still enjoys his slumber. He usually wakes later in the morning, savoring a cup of coffee before tending to his garden with care for each delicate flower and shrub. Lily admires his lovely plants and feels grateful for the warmth and friendship shared among everyone on their street. Reaching for the kitchen counter, Lily prepares herself a cup of strong black tea, her favorite way to start the day. As she adds a splash of milk, she watches it swirl gracefully through the dark brew. With steaming cup in hand, she makes her way to her usual spot beneath the kitchen window and settles into a wooden chair, taking in that first sip. The tea wraps around her senses like a warm embrace from glowing embers on a chilly day. As Lily gazes through the window at the sky, she observes a thick layer of clouds settling over the town like a heavy quilt. She suspects that today will be filled with rain, yet she feels no worry. This kind of downpour is a hallmark of autumn, and she cherishes the special feelings this season brings. Without the rain, she wouldn't have the chance to don her snug sweaters, slip into her beloved rubber boots, wrap herself in warm scarves, or wield her brightly colored umbrella. Rain can be quite delightful when one is bundled in cozy attire with a steaming cup of tea. After savoring the last sip of her tea and rinsing her cup in the sink, she leaves it to dry on a small bamboo rack. With her task complete, she heads to her bedroom to prepare for the day ahead. Stealing a final glance at her inviting bed, she makes her way to the front door, knowing that rest will come later. In the hallway, she dons her felt hat and woolen scarf and grabs her vibrant yellow umbrella. As she clicks the door shut behind her, she steps onto the pathway and opens the umbrella, which unfurls into a cheerful canopy above her head. Out of the corner of her eye, she catches sight of the familiar little white cat peering from the window of a neighboring house to her right. This cat belongs to a kind woman who often wears her hair in a bun. The feline watches Lily pass by with an unreadable expression. Lily smiles warmly and gives a friendly wave. Aside from the fluffy companion, the neighborhood remains tranquil. As she strolls along, Lily passes charming homes with the darkened windows still in slumber. A few porch lights flicker above brick steps while street lamps cast a gentle yellow glow that dances with the rain pooling on the pavement. She listens to the rhythmic patter of raindrops against her umbrella's fabric. Beneath its sunny shelter, she feels safe and dry, reminded of childhood days spent building forts from pillows and blankets. Snuggled beneath layers of cotton and fleece back then, it felt as though the entire world had transformed into a serene haven just for her. Lily beams at the cherished memory, snugging her woolen scarf closer around her. With a playful skip, she leaps over a puddle on her left and gracefully maneuvers around another on her right as she carefully makes her way down the hill toward the bakery's parking lot. In the distance, the shop's vibrant door bursts forth against the dimness. Swirls of green, blue, yellow, purple, and orange paint twirl across the wooden facade, inviting everyone who passes by. She can vividly recall that summer evening from years ago when she painted the door. Armed with a brush, she let her imagination run wild, blending a rainbow of colors into swirling designs that adorn the wood. When she stepped back to admire her work, she brushed a few strands of hair away from her face and noticed her overalls and hands were speckled with dried paint. A laugh escaped her lips as she reveled in the delight of transforming the ordinary into something beautiful, even if just for a moment. Now, Lily retrieves her brass keys and inserts one into the lock of the door. It creaks open, unveiling the shadowy interior of the still sleeping bakery. She shakes off her umbrella and gently taps a switch with her fingertip. The lights flicker to life, and a sigh of contentment escapes her. It feels wonderful to be back in the bakery. The enticing scents of flour, sugar, and espresso beans greet her as she strolls through the serene shop. These delightful aromas waft toward her from the kitchen, a reminder of yesterday's baking adventures. There's also a whiff of toasted pecans lingering from the pie she prepared just before closing. As she begins to prepare for another day in her bakery, Lily mentally reviews all that she plans to create today. She turns on the oven to let it warm up. First on her list are cinnamon rolls, her signature treat. This time, however, she'll sprinkle in some toasted pecans for an added crunch. She gathers all the metal parts of the espresso machine that had been left drying on the rack overnight. And yes, today is also pumpkin pie day. She recalls how each year, around this time, customers eagerly inquire about when they can expect those beloved pies to be available. Some prefer ordering by the slice, while others look forward to bringing home an entire pie to share with their loved ones. Lily strolls over to the inviting seating nook and gently reaches down along the wall. Her fingertips discover a plug, which she carefully connects to the socket. Instantly, strands of fairy lights flicker to life above her. She pauses for a moment, allowing her thoughts to settle. Taking a deep breath, she gazes up at the twinkling lights. As she exhales, a wave of tranquility envelops her. It's essential to slow down and savor the little moments, she reflects. After all, these are what weave magic into life. With the lights sparkling overhead, she makes her way to the counter and steps into the small open kitchen area. From this vantage point, she can see the entire shop and seamlessly transition from her baking table to the espresso machine when customers arrive. She retrieves two large white buckets of dough from beneath the counter, where they have been rising overnight in their sticky embrace. Pouring it onto the wooden surface, she flattens it out and generously sprinkles it with cinnamon sugar and toasted pecans. Using her fingertips, she rolls it into a thick log, slicing it into circular discs that reveal delicate swirls of filling within. Dusting each one with more cinnamon sugar, she places the tray in the oven to bake. In just a few moments, the delightful scent of fresh cinnamon rolls fills the bakery. The warm aroma mingles with the cozy heat of the oven, making Lily feel completely at home. After a while, the oven chimes softly. She carefully removes the tray of rolls and sets it on a wire rack to cool before turning her attention to making pie. She heads toward the pantry at the back of the kitchen and opens its door wide. To Lily, this space is like her own enchanted room, brimming with every ingredient and supply imaginable. Tubs of flour and baking powder are neatly stacked beneath large jars filled with spices and bottles of flavor extracts. A jar of vanilla pods rests on the higher shelf alongside star anise, fresh cloves, poppy seeds, onion powder, roasted garlic, and chili flakes. And there on the bottom shelf, nestled toward the back, are fresh sugar pumpkins gathered from a nearby farm. Lily carefully selects a sturdy, medium-sized pumpkin and cradles it under her arm. In a large metal mixing bowl, she gathers an assortment of jars filled with spices and a couple of wooden spoons. With the grace of someone accustomed to managing more than they ought to, she balances everything before placing her collection on the counter. Her first task is to roast the pumpkin. With precision, she slices the gourd in half and scoops out its stringy insides and seeds. Next, she positions both halves face down on a baking tray and slides them into the oven to bake and soften. While the oven works its enchantment on the pumpkin, Lily turns her attention to preparing the crust. Although there are countless types of crusts she could create, her favorite remains graham cracker. This special recipe came from her Aunt Lucy, who always treated the children to delightful mini pies during holiday gatherings. Lily retrieves a plastic sleeve of graham crackers from their blue cardboard box and places it on the counter. Covering the package with a tea towel, she reaches for her sturdy rolling pin. With gentle motions, she rolls it back and forth over the towel, crushing the crackers beneath. The smooth wooden handles glide comfortably in her hands as she works from side to side. The crackers crackle and crumble under the pressure. Once they resemble coarse sand, she opens the corners of the bag and pours its contents into a mixing bowl, sending up a little cloud of graham cracker dust that tickles her nose. Next, Lily strolls over to her shiny silver refrigerator to retrieve a stick of butter. She unwraps it from its waxy cover and drops it into a mixing cup before placing it in the microwave for just a few seconds until it melts beautifully. Pouring the melted butter into the bowl with the crumbs, she adds a generous sprinkle of sugar and cinnamon. Using a long wooden spoon, she stirs everything together until it feels like damp sand. With care, she spreads this mixture evenly across the bottom and up the side of a shallow pie dish. Methodically working over the crust, she ensures it doesn't crack at the edges, pushing and pressing just right until it forms a smooth brown base. The oven beeps once more as Lily dons her thick, colorful oven mitts to retrieve the tray of roasted pumpkin. After sliding in her pie dish, she sets the timer for 12 minutes. Just enough time for the crust to become slightly crunchy so that it can support all that delicious liquid filling. At that moment, a gentle creak echoed through the air as the wooden door swung open. The first customer of the day had arrived. It was Seamus, the warm-hearted elderly gentleman who cherished his morning ritual of enjoying a cup of coffee alongside a cinnamon roll. However, on special days like today, when the delightful aroma of pumpkin pie filled the air, he had something different to look forward to. He greeted Lily with a smile as she poured a delicate stream of coffee into his favorite mug. After all these years, he didn't even need to place an order anymore. By the time he reached the counter and wished her a cheerful good morning, Lily had already prepared his breakfast. "It smells like pumpkin pie is on the menu today," he remarked, taking his steaming coffee in hand. Lily beamed back at him and assured him that she would bring him a slice just as soon as it finished baking. He expressed his gratitude and settled into his usual spot by the window, unfolding the crisp pages of his morning newspaper. With Seamus here, it truly felt like the day had begun. Lily cherished these moments spent working while Seamus enjoyed his time in her shop. He had become an integral part of this place, just like her other regulars. Together, they formed a close-knit community, a family of sorts, who all called the Rainy Day Bakery their home. Glancing at the timer, she noticed that the crust was ready to come out of the oven. Slipping on her mitts, she carefully removed the dish and inhaled its warm, sweet aroma. Just heavenly, as Seamus would say. Now it was time for Lily to focus on preparing the pumpkin filling. With a spoon in hand, she scooped out the vibrant orange flesh from the pumpkin skin and placed it into a large bowl. Using a wooden spoon, she mashed it until it reached a smooth and creamy texture. Next, she retrieved eggs and heavy cream from the refrigerator and began cracking each egg one by one into the bowl of pumpkin. Then she poured in the rich cream, watching as its milky whiteness flowed through valleys of orange puree like little pearly rivers. Lily scoops generous spoonfuls of cinnamon, ground ginger, nutmeg, cloves, and cardamom. The blend of spices evokes all the warmth and familiarity that the season brings. It's the fragrance of the holidays filled with family and togetherness. As she stirs, the air wraps around her like a cozy memory, infused with delightful scents. A dash of lemon zest is grated into the filling to add a hint of brightness and a touch of zing. With one final stir, she ensures the mixture is smooth and velvety. Carefully, she pours the filling into the crust, using a spatula to scrape every last bit from the bowl. Then, with great care, she transports the wobbly pie to the oven and places it gently on the rack. With the timer set, Lily takes a moment to relax. She leans back against her table and gazes around her shop. In one corner stands a bookshelf filled with little paperbacks and large art books left by visitors. Over the years, she has contributed several mystery novels herself. After savoring the stories, she loves passing them along, knowing they will bring joy to new readers. Close by is a charming hand-painted rocking chair for children that she discovered in a second-hand store long ago. She brought it into her bakery for her youngest guests. Over time, children have added their own unique touches to it, decorating it with flowers and bees, squiggly lines, and little scratches. The beep from the oven snaps Lily back to her baking task. The pie is ready. As she opens the oven door, a warm gust rushes out to greet her cheeks like a dragon's breath, carrying the deliciously nutty and sweet aroma of freshly baked pumpkin pie. She carefully removes the dish from the oven and sets it on the counter to cool, while she tidies up her mixing bowls, rolling pins, and measuring cups. By the window, Seamus watches intently as he casts curious glances at the pie. With a smile, she slices off a piece for him and decides to indulge herself with an extra slice as well. It has already been quite a long morning. Nothing sounds better than enjoying something sweet alongside an old friend. She presents each slice on a delicate white plate, topping them with a generous dollop of freshly whipped cream. As she carries them to the table by the window, she settles down across from Seamus. It smells delightful, just like every year, he comments, eagerly diving his fork into the rich filling. Lily takes her first bite, savoring the zesty pumpkin flavor that dances on her palate. The taste is deep and fragrant, wrapping her in a warm embrace of sweet spices. Perfect, she thinks. Absolutely perfect. As she enjoys her pie, Lily takes a moment to appreciate her inviting bakery. Seamus beams at her. There's something truly special about sharing autumn days with good friends, she muses. Her gaze drifts to the twinkling fairy lights that harmonize with the gentle rhythm of raindrops tapping against the window. These little touches make this place feel like home, Lily reflects. The bakery holds the stories of its visitors, each person who has stepped through its creaky wooden door, leaving behind a trace of their journey. A content smile spreads across her face as she realizes this is exactly where she belongs. Raindrops softly patter against the window near Lily's bed. Occasionally, a strong gust of wind sends the rain dancing against the glass. Snuggled under her covers with her eyes closed, Lily listens to the storm's shifting symphony. Tomorrow, Promises to be a blustery day, she thinks, cherishing these final moments in bed before morning arrives. These are some of Lily's most treasured moments, when her thoughts drift dreamily and the remnants of slumber still linger in her mind. Before long, a yawn sneaks up on her, nudging her to stretch her arms wide. She rolls her ankles gently in both directions, readying them for movement when she finally rises from bed. Breathing in deeply and exhaling slowly, she allows herself to sink further into the softness of the sheets. Just a little longer, she whispers to herself, a gentle smile gracing her lips. The rain taps against the window in rhythmic waves, as if curtains of water are being drawn open and shut again and again. A powerful gust rattles the branches of the tree outside, sending a cascade of raindrops splattering toward the house. Days like this always fill Lily with excitement. When nature seems wild and unpredictable, it inspires her to embrace spontaneity. With that thought in mind, she pushes herself up to sit on the edge of the bed before standing tall and glancing out at the world beyond her window. As always, the world outside remains cloaked in darkness. Lily rises before most of the townsfolk, eager to have her bakery prepared and welcoming by the time others begin their day. She knows that the rest of the neighborhood is still nestled in slumber, with even the cats likely curled up in their soft beds or resting on pillows by the windowsills, patiently awaiting dawn's arrival. Slipping her feet into her cozy slippers, she tiptoes into the kitchen. The first task on her agenda is to set the kettle on for a steaming cup of robust tea. Leaning against the counter, she listens intently as the water begins to bubble and rumble. From a drawer, Lily retrieves a small metal tea ball and fills it with fragrant strands of loose leaf black tea. Each leaf positions itself at an odd angle within the ball, so she carefully twists on the lid to ensure none escape. With a tiny metal hook and chain, she suspends the tea ball over her cup. When the water reaches its boiling point, she pours it over the tea. Bubbles dance up from within the metal ball, causing it to bob slightly before settling at the bottom. A rich hue spreads through the clear water as it swirls around. Lily lifts her cup to her nose and inhales deeply. The scent of hot tea on a chilly morning fills her with warmth. Feeling adventurous this morning, she opts to skip her usual splash of milk and enjoy her tea black instead. Yet, yearning for a touch of familiarity, she carries her cup over to her favorite wooden seat beneath the kitchen window, her cherished spot for savoring morning tea while watching over her sleepy neighborhood through the glass. On some mornings, gentle rays of sunlight break through clouds by this hour, but today is different. A heavy blanket of grey clouds looms low over town, with rain falling steadily, only occasionally interrupted by gusts of wind that sway and bend the branches of a tree across the street. It's definitely coat weather today, she muses. Taking slow sips of her tea, she feels warmth enveloping her more with each drop. She wiggles her toes within her fuzzy slippers, delighting in the tingling sensation that dances across her skin. This truly is the coziest morning, she thinks contentedly to herself. Once Lily finished her tea, she carefully rinsed the cup and set it on a bamboo rack beside the sink to dry. Although the sun was hiding away, she sensed it was time to get ready for her visit to the bakery. Years of opening her shop each morning had attuned her instincts. It felt as if she possessed an internal clock that guided her perfectly. She just knew when to wrap up her tea and when to step out the door to ensure she arrived at the bakery right on schedule. Selecting a grey shirt that mirrored the overcast skies, Lily made her way to her bedroom to dress. She slipped into her thick wool coat, fastening the buttons snugly against the chill, and wrapped a cozy cable knit scarf around her neck, a treasured gift from Rose, one of her devoted customers 2 winters prior. This scarf was more than just warmth. It held memories of friendships that blossomed over time, filling Lily's heart with joy each time she wore it. With the scarf tucked under her chin and a pair of oversized gloves pulled from her coat pockets, Lily grabbed her cheerful yellow umbrella before stepping outside. After gently closing the door behind her, she paused on the front step to unfold the umbrella. Despite the wind's efforts to resist, she managed to open it wide, adding a splash of brightness to the dreary morning. As she stepped onto the sidewalk, she found shelter beneath its canopy from the heavy raindrops that danced above. Glancing toward her neighbor's window, Lily noticed their little white cat, usually so lively, was still nestled in slumber, curled up snugly in its warm home. Typically alert and watchful, today it seemed to be enjoying a leisurely morning. Watching the cat peacefully doze behind the glass made Lily briefly long for the comfort of her own bed. Yet thoughts of her cherished customers brought a smile to her lips, inspiring her to venture out each day, come rain or shine, to open up the doors of Rainy Day Bakery. As she strolls down the slick pavement towards town, Lily carefully sidesteps the large puddles that seem to appear every few steps. The sidewalk glimmers under the soft glow of the streetlights, yet the sun remains hidden from view. It seems like today will be one of those gloomy mornings, she reflects. Up ahead, she catches sight of the bakery's door, painted in bright hues that stand out against the muted light, beckoning all who pass by. On such a dreary day, it serves as a refuge where visitors can step inside to enjoy a warm drink, indulge in a slice of pie or a cinnamon roll, and lose themselves in an engaging book. Some patrons prefer to chat, savoring moments with both new acquaintances and old friends in this familiar haven. Lily recognizes that her bakery has become deeply woven into the fabric of the community. A welcoming home away from home, where everyone can find something to lift their spirits. Lost in thought, a sudden gust of wind turns her umbrella inside out. Startled, she hastens toward the vibrant door, fumbling with her brass keys as she unlocks it. With her now crumpled umbrella clutched tightly, she pushes open the door, revealing the quiet darkness of the bakery within. After wiping her feet on the mat to prevent muddy footprints from marking the floor, Lily flicks on the lights, illuminating the small shop with a warm glow. Examining her yellow umbrella, she notices its bent metal ribs and a slider that refuses to keep the canopy open. With a resigned sigh, she places it gently in the entryway, grateful for its years of service, but acknowledging that it's time for a new one. Planning to spend her entire day in the bakery, Lily wonders when she will find a moment to shop for an umbrella replacement. She anticipates a damp walk home later, but feels at ease with the local weather and resolves to embrace it fully. Taking a deep breath to clear her mind, she immerses herself in thoughts of her tasks ahead, greeted by the comforting aromas of espresso beans, flour, and pecans lingering from yesterday's baking. On most days, she begins with cinnamon rolls. However, today feels different. There's an air of spontaneity about it that mirrors her choice of tea. Perhaps it's due to the wind or the rhythmic patter of rain outside that stirs this feeling within her. Whatever it is, Lily senses it's time for something new. Making her way into the snug seating area, she bends down to plug in a string of fairy lights. Before long, they twinkle above her like stars in the night sky. With renewed energy coursing through her, she heads back to the pantry and scans the shelves, brimming with baking supplies and ingredients piled high. What shall I bake today? She muses softly to herself. Just 2 days ago, she delighted her customers with a freshly baked blueberry pie, followed by zesty lemon squares and scrumptious pecan rolls yesterday. Not to mention the chocolate muffins she crafted the week prior. All these treats are cherished by those who visit her bakery. Yet, Lily finds herself contemplating what might truly bring her joy. A few years back, while rummaging through the family home, she discovered her grandmother's cherished cookbook nestled on a shelf. As she flipped through its well-loved pages, a particular recipe caught her eye, one she had never tried before. Captivated, she marked the page with a small scrap of paper tucked into the spine. Now, that treasured cookbook rests on a dark wooden shelf in the pantry's back corner. With a smile illuminating her face, Lily approaches the book and turns to the marked page. The recipe is simply titled Baked Apples. In the margins, yellowed with time, she recognizes her grandmother's unique handwriting. A note reads, "Perfect for a chilly autumn day." Scattered throughout the recipe are her grandmother's handwritten notes, tiny adjustments and tips meant to enhance the dish. This is what I'll bake today. Lily decides with determination. It's time to explore something new. The ingredient list is refreshingly simple: butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, rolled oats, chopped pecans, and several large apples. Gathering all the necessary items, Lily returns to her workspace behind the counter. She leaves the butter out to soften while she prepares the nuts. After chopping them roughly, she sets them aside before measuring out the oats. Finally, she turns on the oven and lets it warm up. The next step of the recipe requires a bit more finesse. She needs to core each apple and create a pocket for the filling without splitting them open entirely. Next to the instructions her grandmother had written, use paring knife and spoon. With care, Lily takes her paring knife and gently pierces near the stem of the first apple. She slides it in and carefully carves a circle around the core. With slow twists of her wrist, she works to detach it from deeper inside. After a delicate tug, it pops free, now hollowed out like a tiny pumpkin without its seeds. Setting that apple aside, she moves on to the next one. Soon enough, this task becomes second nature as she swiftly removes each core in one smooth motion until there's a neat line of prepared apples awaiting their delicious filling. Now, it's time for Lily to prepare the delightful filling. She gathers the softened butter, sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg, blending them together with a wooden spoon until the spices are harmoniously mixed. Next, she adds in the oats and crunchy pecan pieces. With care, she fills each apple to the brim. with this delicious mixture. Once the apples are ready, she arranges them neatly in ceramic pie dishes. Following her grandmother's wise advice, Lily pours just enough water into each dish to cover the bottoms of the apples, ensuring they won't dry out or burn. With everything set, she dons her thick oven mitts and places the pie dishes onto the metal racks inside the oven. After closing the door securely, she sets the timer to remind her when it's time to check on her creations. As she tidies up her workspace, Lily hears the familiar creak of the bakery door swinging open. It's Rose, a dear customer who has become a cherished friend over the years. Rose greets Lily with a warm smile, hangs her scarf on a nearby chair, and makes her way to the counter where a steaming cup of coffee awaits her. Grateful for Lily's thoughtful gesture, Rose thanks her with a bright smile and asks about her day. Excitedly, Lily shares details about her baked apples inspired by her grandmother's recipe and invites Rose to be her very first taste tester. They chat about the blustery autumn weather outside. Lily mentions her broken umbrella and worries about finding a replacement before heading home. Rose reassures her with a gentle pat on her arm and comforting words before settling down at a table with her coffee. Before long, another regular customer named Seamus walks in. Lily quickly serves him his coffee and promises him a baked apple once they're ready. Throughout the morning, one by one, all of Lily's loyal customers arrive. Some brave souls come in with rain-speckled coats from battling the storm outside, while others use folded newspapers as makeshift shields or shake out their umbrellas as they enter. Lily warmly attends to each of them, offering an array of coffees, teas, and scrumptious pastries to brighten their day. As the timer chimed softly, Lily turned away from the cozy seating area and approached the oven. With great care, she pulled out the pie dishes brimming with apples, now tender and syrupy. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught a glimpse of Rose chatting with various customers. A fleeting curiosity sparked in her mind about their early morning conversation, but soon her focus returned to her task. Gently, she lifted the apples from their water-laden dishes and arranged them on individual plates. Making her way to the refrigerator, she retrieved a carton of whipping cream. Pouring some into a bowl, she sprinkled sugar over it and grabbed a handheld mixer to whip it into fluffy cream. The mixer hummed cheerfully as the beaters whirled, and Lily noticed Rose stepping out through the door. But she hasn't even tasted her baked apple yet, Lily mused. Once soft peaks formed in the cream, she switched off the mixer. Using a metal spoon, Lily added a generous dollop of whipped cream atop each apple and drizzled her famous caramel sauce over them. The warm scent of baked apples mingled with rich cream wafted through the air, creating an inviting atmosphere filled with homely comfort. She carried the first plate over to Seamus and set it down before him, before moving on to serve a family tucked in a corner, along with a woman engrossed in her newspaper and a man who often ordered cranberry scones. As she distributed the delicious treats, Lily noticed Rose returning through the door, holding a long, slender package wrapped in shiny paper. With a smile, Rose beckoned Lily closer. "This is for you," she said, handing over the gift. Attached was a handwritten note that read, "To Lily, from all your friends at the Rainy Day Bakery." Eagerly unwrapping the paper, Lily revealed a vibrant new umbrella, green adorned with cheerful yellow polka dots and featuring a handle shaped like a duck's head. "This might just be the happiest umbrella I've ever seen," Lily exclaimed to Rose as she admired it. "Thank you all so much." Glancing around the room, Lily noticed that other customers were smiling brightly too. It dawned on her that this gift was from all of them, a thoughtful gesture from her cherished friends. A wave of warmth and joy washed over her. This place and its people truly made her feel at home. "I have something for you as well," she said playfully to Rose, while handing over one of the last two baked apples from her grandmother's cherished recipe. The other one was destined for herself, a sweet treat to savor later. Together they sit by the window, gazing out at the dreary rainy day that swirls with wind and grayness. Yet inside the rainy day bakery, a warm cocoon of safety and love envelops everyone. Lily takes a spoon and savors the soft apple filling, rich and gooey, perfectly spiced and delightfully sweet. It tastes even better knowing her grandmother guided her in making it, and now she gets to share this treat with her dearest friends. When Lily opens her eyes, the first sound that greets her is the gentle patter of rain against her window. The rain falls steadily, without any gusts of wind, creating a soothing melody as droplets dance upon the ground. She stretches her arms and legs in a big yawn before sinking back into her cozy bed, cherishing these tranquil moments before the bustle of the day begins. Today is special. Lily is hosting the annual cookie decorating party at the bakery. Although she baked several batches of sugar cookies yesterday, there is still much to accomplish before her guests arrive later in the morning. This season is among her favorites because the bakery fills with warmth, laughter, and the cheerful faces of friends and neighbors celebrating Cookie Day together. After stretching one last time, Lily slips out of bed, slides into her fuzzy slippers and retrieves her robe from its hook by the door. Wrapped snugly in its embrace, she tiptoes quietly to the kitchen. Her morning routine unfolds like a cherished ritual. First, she fills the kettle with water and sets it to boil while preparing a cup of cranberry orange spiced black tea using a metal tea ball, a wintertime favorite that warms both body and soul when steeped in hot water. After adding a splash of milk to her steaming cup, she carries it over to her wooden window seat. Outside, the dark morning reveals a soft glow from a neighbor's nightlight across the street. Most people are still nestled in their dreams. As the one entrusted with opening the bakery each day, Lily has grown accustomed to rising before everyone else. She finds joy in being part of their morning routines, serving them coffee and sweet delights to start their days right. While peering out at the overcast sky, she recalls whispers of snow in today's forecast. With a gentle touch on the cold window glass, she smiles at the thought that it only needs to drop a few degrees for snowflakes to begin their descent. For Lily, snowy days bring an enchanting magic to the bakery that makes everything feel extra special. From her spot behind the counter, Lily has a perfect view of the street through the large windows. She delights in watching the snow gently pile up on the sidewalks, where children frolic and craft snowmen beneath the glow of street lamps. Although she has always found solace in watching the rain, Lily believes that everyone deserves a sprinkle of magic from time to time. After finishing her tea, She rinses her cup and sets it on the bamboo rack to dry before heading back to her bedroom to get ready. Each year during the cookie party, Lily dons the same delightful sweater she received as a Christmas gift many years ago. This cozy garment features a cheerful snowman set against a backdrop of tall trees, crafted from an array of colorful squares and adorned with a silly grin that never fails to brighten her mood. Her customers seem to appreciate it just as much whenever she wears it. Once dressed in her coat, scarf, hat, and gloves, Lily picks up her new umbrella, a vibrant green one decorated with yellow polka dots and topped with a handle shaped like a duck's head. With the cord securely wrapped around her wrist, she steps out of her bedroom and clicks the door shut behind her, ready to embrace the early morning rain. The rain has softened since she was tucked in bed. Now it's more of a gentle drizzle. Still, Lily prefers the snug warmth of her umbrella as she strolls down the road. She opens it overhead, relishing the soothing sound of raindrops tapping against its cheerful fabric. This umbrella always brings back fond memories of her friends and loyal customers at the bakery, who gifted it to her after her old one succumbed to an autumn storm. Such acts of kindness linger in her thoughts, especially on rainy mornings like this one, as she gazes up through the vibrant polka dots streaked with glistening raindrops. As she passes by her neighbor's window, Lily is taken aback to see a black cat peering out with curious eyes instead of the usual white feline. Behind this newcomer, she catches sight of a flicker of white, her familiar companion from previous mornings. As she watches them adjust and curl up together like two perfect semicircles, Lily muses to herself, how wonderful for the white cat to have found a new friend. Now they can keep each other company. With a cheerful grin, Lily strolls towards the bakery, soon spotting its beloved multicolored door. The first soft glimmers of dawn begin to light up the horizon, revealing the various hand-painted shades that adorn the entrance. Upon arriving, she unlocks the door and steps inside, immediately enveloped by the comforting warmth of the bakery. After giving her umbrella a gentle shake and setting it aside to dry in the entryway, Lily wipes her feet on the mat and takes a deep breath, transitioning from the crisp morning air to the cozy interior. The delightful scent of roasted coffee beans mingled with a touch of burnt sugar from yesterday's cookies fills her senses, reminiscent of sweet toasted marshmallows. She moves further inside and flips on the lights, brightening up the bakery. As she makes her way to the seating area, she bends down to plug in a string of fairy lights that sparkle overhead. Ready to kick off her day, she typically starts with a generous batch of sticky cinnamon rolls. However, today is slightly different. She needs to whip up a couple more batches of cookies to ensure there are plenty for later. Venturing into the pantry, Lily gathers all the necessary dry ingredients. She's preparing double batches of chocolate chip cookies and stained glass sugar cookies. First, she pulls out flour, white sugar, brown sugar, vanilla extract, black treacle, and chocolate chips. Next, she locates cornstarch and salt before retrieving a bag of vibrant hard candies that will be melted down for the glass panes in her stained glass cookies. From the refrigerator, she grabs baking soda and eggs while allowing the butter on the countertop to soften to just the right consistency. Lily organizes everything by batch before mixing her dry and wet ingredients in separate bowls. Once everything is ready, she combines them until the dough achieves its perfect texture. For the chocolate chip cookies, she carefully folds in the chocolate chips to keep them intact before using an ice cream scoop to portion out equal amounts onto a tray, which she then places in the oven. As for the stained glass cookies, she wraps up their dough and puts it in the refrigerator to chill, making it easier for her to roll out and cut into beautiful shapes later on. As the delightful scent of cookies baking begins to fill the air, Lily's first customer of the day steps inside. It's Seamus, as always, arriving for his morning cup of coffee and a little something sweet. While he usually opts for a cinnamon roll, on cookie day, he eagerly looks forward to being the first to sample whatever Lily has prepared, playfully ensuring they've turned out just right with a glimmer in his eye. Lily has his coffee ready before he even reaches the counter, sliding it smoothly across the wooden surface toward him. Adjusting the newspaper tucked under his arm, Seamus lifts the warm cup. "What kinds are you making this year?" he asks, glancing at the oven with anticipation. "Chocolate chip, plain sugar, and stained glass," Lily replies, her smile brightening the room. "Well then, I suppose I'll have to try one of each if you don't mind," he says with a grin. "After all, I need to ensure they're up to par." Lily laughs and nods in agreement. "Of course," she responds. "Cookie day wouldn't be complete without you." Seamus finds a cozy spot by the window where he can enjoy a lovely view of the street dotted with puddles. Just as dawn begins to break through the thick clouds, though the sun is still hiding, the clouds shift to a gentler shade of grey. At that moment, the timer signals that the chocolate chip cookies are ready to come out of the oven. Donning her oven mitts, Lily opens the door and is greeted by a warm wave of air as she peers inside. The cookies are perfectly fluffy and golden brown, with gooey chocolate chips that hold their shape beautifully. Carefully, she removes the tray and sets it on a wire rack to cool. The enchanting aroma of freshly baked cookies fills the bakery, a delightful scent that Lily knows makes any place feel like home. Before long, it's time for her to take the sugar cookie dough out of the refrigerator. The dough feels cold and firm beneath her fingers. After placing it on her wooden table, she reaches for her rolling pin. With graceful and purposeful movements, she rolls the dough out to just the right thickness. Next, she selects square, rectangular, and circular cookie cutters to form the shapes. Then, she brings out a second set of cutters to carve smaller designs into the cookies: bells, trees, ornaments, snowflakes, and more. She carefully arranges the cookies on a lined baking sheet. Afterward, she sorts colorful hard candies into bags by hue and crushes them into tiny bits with her rolling pin. Using a teaspoon, she sprinkles these sugary pieces into the cutout centers of each cookie. When baked, the candy will melt beautifully, creating a stained glass effect framed by the cookie edges. Once everything is ready, she slides the trays into the oven to bake. For a moment, Lily allows herself to relax and enjoy the day unfolding around her. The sky brightens despite the gentle drizzle outside. People begin to venture from their homes, some strolling along while others drive by. Gradually, customers filter into the bakery. Among them is Rose, a familiar face, and Gwen Spencer with her two young twin boys in tow. Lily can tell them apart mainly because one wears glasses while the other does not. Otherwise, they are dressed alike in red shirts, blue jeans, and green fuzzy socks. At just 2 years old, the twins delight in exploring the bakery's nooks and crannies, playing in the kids' corner, and greeting fellow visitors. They also know that whenever they visit Lily's bakery, there's bound to be a sweet treat waiting just for them. As Lily gazes at the bustling preparations, she realizes there's still more to do before the cookie party kicks off. With a quick wipe of her hands on her apron, she strides over to the pantry, eager to gather all the delightful cookie decorating essentials she can find. There are sprinkles in every imaginable shape and hue, slender ones, flat ones, and shimmering gold and silver balls. She also discovers jars filled with colorful decorative sugar in vibrant shade of green, blue, red, yellow, and purple. Chocolate curls, coconut flakes, and tins brimming with crushed peppermint candy join her collection. Carefully, she places everything into a large basket and carries it out to the seating area. Once there, she spreads an array of decorations across each table, complementing them with tubes of icing sugar, colorful gel, and shakers filled with powdered sugar. Lastly, from the farthest corner of the pantry, she retrieves a grand metal tree. Each branch is ribbed perfectly for hanging ornaments. But instead of ornaments, this tree will be adorned with all her beautifully decorated cookies. When the timer chimes softly, Lily returns to the oven to retrieve the stained glass cookies. A smile spreads across her face as she admires their perfection. Each cookie boasts a glossy center in bright and cheerful shades of red, blue, orange, yellow, or green. While they cool down, she takes out the plain sugar cookies she prepared the day before. These have already been cut into playful shapes like snow people, evergreen trees, snowflakes, and stars. One by one, she arranges these delightful treats onto large silver platters. Each table will receive its own platter so guests can choose whichever cookies they wish to decorate. Before she brings out the larger trays, though, she has a special delivery to make. Carefully placing one of each type of cookie onto a small plate, she sets it down right in front of Seamus. His face lights up as he lifts a chocolate chip cookie to his mouth. After taking a bite, he lets out a satisfied sigh. "I think these are the best cookies you've ever made," he exclaims. "In fact, I'd say they're absolutely perfect." This is what he tells her every year about each batch of cookies. A warm feeling blossoms within Lily as she reflects on the joy that comes from her baking endeavors. Each time someone enjoys a cinnamon roll or a croissant or any cookie she's made brings a little extra brightness to her day. As she returns to the counter, Lily carefully gathers each of the larger trays and places them on the tables. A quick glance at the clock reveals that it's nearly time for guests to begin arriving. Just then, the door swings open and in strolls the first family, newcomers to the town. They look around with a charming shyness. Lily greets them with a wave, inviting them to pick any table and start whenever they wish. Their faces light up with gratitude as they choose a cozy spot near the entrance. Next, an elderly couple enters, here to visit their grandchildren. Whenever they're in town, they always make it a point to stop by. They settle down close to Seamus, exchanging warm hellos before making themselves comfortable. One by one, familiar faces from the town fill Lily's bakery, young and old, some alone, and others accompanied by friends. Each one is welcomed to the annual cookie decorating party. Laughter and chatter fill the air as everyone gathers around tables brimming with supplies, accompanied by the cheerful sounds of sprinkles being shaken and icing tubes being squeezed. In this snug atmosphere, Lily feels an overwhelming sense of happiness. There's truly no place she'd rather be than here, enveloped by the warmth and togetherness of her community. As she glances out a window, she notices delicate snowflakes beginning to fall softly to the ground. A child spots them too. "Look, it's snowing!" she exclaims, capturing her mother's attention. The room quiets as everyone turns to admire the gentle snowfall blanketing everything outside. Lily wonders if her neighbors' cats are watching from their window too. Whether it's the joy of being surrounded by loved ones or the magic of winter that fills her heart, she can't tell. But something pulls her outside for just a moment to feel the snow upon her skin. With quiet determination, she glides around the counter, opens the door, and steps into the wintry world beyond. Gazing up at the sky, Lily spreads her arms wide and twirls slowly, delighting in how snowflakes land softly on her cheeks. With a playful grin, she sticks out her tongue to catch one as it drifts down, a moment of pure joy enveloping her. As she takes in her surroundings, she marvels at the tranquil beauty of this snowy day. Everything seems wrapped in a serene hush beneath its white cover. In the distance, a crow leaves footprints in the fresh snow that mirror her own boot prints perfectly. With a gentle wave goodbye to both the crow and this enchanting winter scene, Lily makes her way back into her warm bakery, leaving behind a world transformed into a wonderland of white. Surrounded by cheerful chatter, people are delighting in the art of cookie decorating. Lily observes palm-sized snowmen, each adorned with cozy scarves and hats, vibrant green trees embellished with colorful baubles, delicate white and blue snowflakes featuring intricately iced edges, and elegant white candles flickering with soft yellow flames. There are also stained glass cookies lightly dusted with powdered sugar, elegantly tied to ribbons and strings, alongside chocolate chip cookies that bear the marks of eager bites. A few early decorators have begun hanging their cookie creations on a shiny metal tree tucked in the corner. While many choose to take their delightful treats home, several leave one behind to graze the tree until the arrival of the new year. Lily picks up a stained glass cookie, brings it close to her lips, takes a bite, and revels in the buttery crumbs that dissolve blissfully in her mouth. The sweet candy glass at its heart dances on her tongue. There's nothing quite like a freshly baked cookie, Lily muses to herself. For the remainder of the day, she plans to help her friends add their own special touches to their cookies in all sorts of fun and creative ways, perhaps treating herself to an afternoon coffee as well. But for now, she is perfectly content to stand there, soaking in the joyful ambiance, while gentle snowflakes drift down outside the bakery window. The soft tapping on the glass stirs Lily from her slumber. She keeps her eyes shut for just a few more precious moments of rest. Unwittingly, she drifts back into dreams where the sound of raindrops mingles with images of wet streets and shimmering puddles. Gradually, those dreams begin to fade as her thoughts return to her cozy bedroom, A smile graces her lips as she finally opens her eyes, feeling grateful for those extra minutes of sleep. Even now, the sound of rain is beginning to quieten. It might stop altogether, she thinks, as she stretches her arms high above her head. She rotates her toes in gentle circles, warming up her ankles with each movement before swinging her legs off the bed. After slipping into her soft, cozy slippers, Lily makes her way to the kitchen. As she does each morning, she sets the kettle on the stove for a warm cup of tea. She finds comfort in the gentle sound of bubbles forming within it, a familiar and soothing melody that fills the quiet of the early morning. The bubbles and the rain are the two constants that make this time of day feel like home for Lily. Before dawn breaks, she reflects on the small yet significant aspects of her life while carefully scooping dry tea leaves into a tall tea ball and twisting its top shut. She hangs the ball from the rim of her mug using a delicate chain. Once the water reaches a boil, she pours it over the leaves, watching as the hot liquid transforms into a rich hue, revealing new colors with each steeping. This detail delights her. No matter how many times she brews her tea, it always brings forth unique patterns in her mug. The ritual of making tea is both familiar and exhilarating, she thinks. Lily adds a splash of milk to her tea before settling into her wooden window seat. Gazing through the glass, she takes in her neighborhood still shrouded in darkness. The rain has eased, giving way to a light mist, and she can see wisps of fog curling in behind her neighbor's house. The gentleman across the street tends to a magnificent garden during spring and summer months. Even in autumn, his yard boasts flora that seems perfectly arranged. The brown, red, and yellow leaves scattered across his lawn resemble an artist's splatter on a vibrant canvas. At this early hour, he remains asleep, much like most of their neighbors. With a smile, Lily muses to herself, I must be one of the first risers in town. Though her bakery requires early mornings, Lily doesn't mind at all. It fills her with joy to provide customers with a warm and inviting place to start their day. As she glances across the street, she notices a patch of soil recently turned over. Realizing he must have planted bulbs just yesterday reminds Lily that she should do so as well. Next to her bakery lies a small garden where she has enjoyed planting various crops over the years, from herbs to tomatoes and peppers, but now it is destined to become a flower garden, or will become spring if she plants those bulbs soon enough. These bulbs rely on the cool autumn earth to awaken from their slumber and take root for the season ahead. I must remember to bring them to the bakery today, she tells herself gently. After savoring her tea, Lily takes one last look out the window. The fog has begun to wrap around the house across the street, a predicted event that she recalls. Foggy days have always held a special charm for her, as if they conceal magical wonders and realms of possibility just waiting to be discovered. This thought brings a smile to her face as she rises, carries her mug to the sink, washes it, and leaves it to air dry on the bamboo rack before making her way to the bedroom to get dressed. Choosing a bright red shirt adorned with yellow accents, she thinks, on a grey day like this, I might as well add a splash of color to my outfit. By the front door lies a paper bag filled with flower bulbs, awaiting her attention. The bulbs vary in texture from slightly firm to gently soft and include daffodils, narcissus, and crocuses that remind her of onions and garlic. Meanwhile, the hyacinth bulbs, with their rich reddish purple color, bring turnips to mind. Lily puts on her coat and carefully tucks the bag of bulbs into a roomy pocket. She then dons her hat and gloves before securing her green and yellow polka dot umbrella around her wrist. As she opens the door, she pauses to take in the quiet street outside, where fog envelops everything in a gentle haze, blurring the view of the pavement merging into the road in front of her home. She imagines the neighboring houses sleeping peacefully, cradled in soft layers of grey. Taking a deep breath, Lily delights in the crisp and refreshing scent of the air, freshly cleansed by last night's rain and the lingering fog. Feeling revitalized, she closes the door behind her and sets off on her walk. Although small puddles dot the pavement, none are large enough to impede her progress. Her boots allow her to navigate them with ease. Observing how little water has collected, she muses aloud. The rain last night must have been light and brief. Enjoying her stroll to the bakery without needing her umbrella, she gazes up at the overcast sky, where fog dances around treetops, intertwining with branches and leaves. She extends her hand into the mist, feeling droplets collect on her skin. Instead of wiping them away on her coat, she brings her hands together, as if welcoming nature's embrace, cherishing this connection with the weather, trees, and sky that surrounds her. Focusing her gaze on the spot where her neighbor's house should stand, Lily can only make out the faint outline of the driveway, shrouded in a soft blanket of white and grey mist. The image of her neighbor's two cats, one as white as snow and the other as dark as midnight, flits through her mind. She imagines them curled up together in the favorite window nook, perhaps lost in dreams of sunny summer afternoons and playful catnip adventures. As she continues on her path, she listens to the rhythmic sound of her footsteps echoing off the pavement, each sound amplified by the enveloping fog that surrounds her. In this atmospheric embrace, every noise feels more pronounced, heightening her awareness of the world around her. It takes Lily a bit longer than usual to locate the bakery, just for a fleeting moment. Its vibrant, multicolored door emerges from behind a swirl of fog before disappearing once more into the mist. A smile spreads across her face. Even if the door were completely hidden from view, she would still know it was there. After so many years of making this same walk each morning, she could navigate it with her eyes closed. Yet seeing it brings her comfort, reminding her that soon she will step inside and be enveloped by the familiar scents of coffee beans, sugar, and flour, while turning on the twinkling fairy lights that will breathe life into her little shop. She retrieves her set of keys and finds the right one to unlock the door. Stepping inside, she wipes her feet on the welcome mat before flicking on the overhead lights. She removes her coat and hangs it up carefully, leaving the bulbs tucked safely in its pocket. Before heading behind the counter, she locates the end of a strand of fairy lights in the seating area and plugs them in. They spring to life above her with a gentle flicker. That might just be my favorite moment of the day, she muses to herself. The twinkling lights signal that she has returned home to her beloved bakery. Filled with gratitude for this cherished space, She takes a deep breath, savoring the deliciously familiar aromas surrounding her. The scent of coffee beans is rich yet thick. Flower dust lingers in the air, evoking memories of weekends spent baking delightful treats with her grandmother. The sweet scent of sugar carries a hint of caramelization, calling to mind joyful days at fairs and holiday cookies shaped like trees and ornaments. With an exhale, she feels tension melt away from her muscles, rolling her shoulders gently to warm them up and stretch out any stiffness. She then makes her way behind the counter. Before leaving the bakery yesterday, she had set aside a cherished recipe for one of her favorite wintertime delights, fudge. Gazing at the well-loved handwritten page, smudged with cocoa fingerprints and slightly tattered at one corner, she could almost taste the rich chocolate. Yes, she muses to herself. This is precisely what I want to create today. One of the things she adores about this recipe is its simplicity. It requires just two main ingredients, chocolate chips and sweetened condensed milk. As Lily contemplates the different fudge flavors she wishes to prepare, she recalls that some of her regular customers often request peppermint. She'll need to retrieve the peppermint extract and a package of candy canes to crush on top. Then there's Rose, who has a fondness for hazelnut fudge, so she'll gather whole hazelnuts for decoration. Lastly, Lily has been craving a decadent orange chocolate fudge, which she plans to make for herself. Fortunately, she has some leftover candied orange peel that will add an extra zing. Venturing into the pantry, she finds her trusty double boiler, appropriately sized pans, wax paper, chocolate chips, sweetened condensed milk, and all the essential flavorings and toppings. Carefully bringing them behind the counter, Lily admires her shining silver double boiler, the secret to achieving perfectly melted chocolate chips, just as her mother had once taught her. Over the years, despite trying various methods with bowls over pots and other techniques, Lily always remembered her mother's advice when starting her own bakery. Thus, she invested in a gleaming double boiler of her own. Filling the bottom pot halfway with water and placing the second pot on top, she sets it on the stove and pours in a generous helping of chocolate chips. As the water beneath begins to warm up, steam rises to gently melt the chocolate without burning it. With a wooden spoon in hand, she stirs slowly, watching as the chips transform from solid pieces into a smooth and gooey mixture swirling gracefully in the pot. Before long, the chocolate chips transform into a velvety pool of melted chocolate. As Lily adds the sweetened condensed milk, she stirs to combine the ingredients thoroughly. Starting with the peppermint fudge, she incorporates a spoonful of extract just after removing the pot from the heat. The invigorating scent of peppermint fills the air, stirring memories of frosty winter days blanketed in snow and ice. Quickly, she pours the warm chocolate mixture into a pan lined with wax paper before it has a chance to cool too much. The fudgy liquid cascades into the container like molten lava flowing through rocky terrain, filling every nook and cranny. With her wooden spoon, she scrapes the side of the pot to ensure not a drop of fudge is left behind. Gently lifting the pan, she taps it on the counter to help the mixture settle evenly. Now it's time for the delightful topping. Lily retrieves a sturdy rolling pin from a nearby drawer and unwraps several red and white candy canes one by one, peeling off their plastic wrappings with care. Feeling a slight stickiness on her fingers from the sugary treats, she places the candy canes inside a bag nestled between two towels and rolls the pin back and forth over them. The soft cracking sounds indicate that the candy is breaking into pieces. Once crushed into small fragments, she scoops some into her palm and sprinkles them over the cooling fudge. The larger chunks will add a satisfying crunch, while the finer bits will impart an extra touch of peppermint flavor. After moving the fudge to cooling racks where it will rest until it's ready to be sliced and served, Lily cleans up her workspace and prepares for her next two batches. Before starting again, she grates an entire orange for its fragrant zest. This zest, combined with orange oil, will infuse the fudge with a bright citrusy essence. Once she has melted another batch of chocolate chips and blended them with milk, she stirs in both the zest and oil. The melted fudge glistens under the light as it takes on a smoother texture thanks to the incorporation of oil. Lily imagines how delightful it will taste as it melts in her mouth with that first bite. She decorates this batch with delicate curls of candied orange peel on top, gently pressing them down to secure their place. Taking a moment for herself, she indulges in a piece, relishing in the vibrant citrus flavor, beautifully balanced by rich sweetness. Next, it was time to whip up the hazelnut fudge. Just as Lily was about to heat the water on the stove, Rose appeared from across the counter. "It's so foggy out there," she commented to Lily, recalling her earlier adventure that morning. She had felt a bit lost while leaving her house, momentarily thinking she had taken a wrong turn due to the dense fog that shrouded everything around her. Eventually, though, she caught sight of the bakery's twinkling lights in the distance, shining like guiding stars that led her through the mist to her beloved destination. Lily beamed with excitement as Rose shared her story, eager to tell her about the hazelnut fudge they were about to make. "That's my favorite," Rose exclaimed, gently clapping her hands together in delight. Lily poured a warm cup of coffee for Rose, who nestled into a comfy chair by the window. Returning to the stove, Lily set up the double boiler and combined chocolate and milk just like before. Once she removed the mixture from heat, she added hazelnut flavoring and crushed hazelnuts before pouring it into a lined pan. To complete her creation, she carefully arranged whole hazelnuts in neat rows atop the fudge, giving each piece a delightful crunch and rich taste. As the enticing aroma of hazelnut fudge filled the air, mingling beautifully with hints of orange and peppermint, a perfect blend for a chilly day. Lily noticed Rose smiling contentedly. While waiting for the fudge to cool, Lily decided it was a good time to plant some bulbs. "It's a quiet day, and I'll have a clear view of anyone coming in," she thought. She walked over to Rose and gently placed her hand on her shoulder. "I'll be outside if you need anything," she reassured her friend. To Lily's surprise, Rose offered to join her, a lovely chance for companionship in the garden. Although Lily cherished moments alone with her plants, she always welcomed shared experiences with dear friends. After all these years, Rose had truly become one of those treasured friends. Hand in hand, Lily and Rose approached the door, wrapping themselves in their warm coats and snug scarves as they step outside. In the quaint little garden, Lily pulls a bag of flower bulbs from her pocket, while Rose discovers a workbench housing a few tools and manages to find a couple of trowels. The two friends kneel in the soft earth, giggling as the cool soil seeps into their trouser knees, and begin to dig. They share fond memories of the many seasons spent at the bakery. There was that time when Max from the hardware store accidentally ordered 12 dozen cupcakes instead of just 2 dozen for his daughter's birthday celebration, leading to a delightful few days of giving away cupcakes. And how could they forget that summer storm that washed out some roads, leaving visitors stranded in town? Everyone came together at the bakery, brewing coffee, preparing snacks, and gathering blankets and children's books to ensure their unexpected guests felt welcome until the roads were cleared. Do you remember all those wonderful moments we've shared here? Rose asks gently. Lily nods as she presses the last flower bulb into its new home. Stepping back, she admires their creation. Rose joins her side, and together they stand in peaceful silence, cherishing the years they've spent together. Lily gazes up at the fairy lights twinkling like stars in the misty evening sky, inviting those seeking comfort to find solace within. A bakery that shines brightly on rainy days.